Hey everybody, it's Alicia with the Urban Key. I want to thank you all for joining us. I have a super special guest today. I have Miss Lauren Amos, and she is the Managing Director of Small Business Development, Build Bronzeville, and Director of Illinois SBDC. All right, everybody, a warm welcome to Lauren.
Oh, hey.
Hey. Hey, so Lauren, I'm super glad. Thank you. I just want to say publicly, thank you for taking time to do the interview because I feel like you are such a phenomenal person, and that in conjunction with the work that you're doing, I feel like whoever works with you, whoever gets to work with you is going to have a phenomenal experience.
Don't do that.
It's the truth. You know, I have to get you on and brag. So I'll tell a short story to everyone. So Lauren and I met probably a year ago. We met a year ago through a mutual friend, my friend Adrian, who's in the advertising world. He connected us because of, my love and interest in events. And at that time, you were the general manager for Dusex over in Pilsen and Talia Hall. And so, it really just kind of made sense to at least make an introduction so I could at least know, who you were, who's on the scene, that type of thing. So we did connect, and you spent 2 hours really just giving me all types of insight about the industry, food and hospitality, music, all types. We had such a great conversation. And I just from that moment, I knew that you're just a genuine person. So anytime that someone can connect with someone like you, they're destined to be successful. So
you're killing me, Small.
Yeah. Come on, Lauren. It's the truth, though. It's the truth.
I am very, very, very appreciative of your very kind words.
You're welcome. You deserve them. You deserve it. So listen, we don't have that much time. We've got like 20 minutes. We've got a lot of information that we want to convey to everybody. So I'm just going to go ahead and dive in. So why don't you introduce yourself to everybody? I did a brief intro, but why don't you let everybody know what you're doing currently at Bronzeville?
Yeah. So as you mentioned previously, I was general manager for Talia Hall. So that includes Dusex, Punch House, Tack Room, all the food and beverage things that were associated with that. In a life prior to the world of food and beverage, I did corporate finance and strategy for a little over a decade, right? For pretty big companies and things. So I coupled those two experiences of small business, big business, and really just kind of my love for exactly what you're saying, helping people and making those connections, and partnered with the fine folks at Build Bronzeville and Urban Juncture to launch an Illinois SBDC, which is Small Business Development Center, as a part of the Build Bronzeville initiative. So we're on 51st and Prairie. It's where we're housed in the Bronzeville Incubator. And what we've established with the center, so SBDCs or Small Business Development Centers are basically your local resource hub that is sponsored by or funded by the SBA and like the Illinois Department of Commerce, right? And so what they do is they look for host organizations to be able to put together or to provide resources to entrepreneurs or would-be entrepreneurs in communities and neighborhoods. And as of January 2020, we launched one in Bronzeville.
Okay, I think that is such an amazing area. I feel like Bronzeville has definitely been growing leaps and bounds. And for everyone, if you're not in in Illinois, Bronzeville is in the Chicago. It's a community in the Chicago neighborhood. So that neighborhood is, predominantly African American, and so to have a center like this is definitely just something that can be just life changing for people in that community to have those types of resources. So super excited that it's there. So let's dive in a little bit deeper. So with the SBDC, what types of resources could a person come in and expect to, encounter or receive?
Yeah. So the at the core of what we do is one-on-one advising, right? So if you have an existing business, if you have a business idea that you want to kick the tires on, things like that, you can come sign up as a client. Everything is free, and meet with myself or another business advisor or subject matter expert in a particular field to walk through your business needs. And that can be everything from writing a business plan, doing, kind of where my heart lies for financial forecasting and budgeting and planning, because that's what I spent a lot of time doing. Figuring out, your legal entity setup. We partner with different professional service providers, so accountants, lawyers, digital media providers, marketing and branding experts, that they volunteer their time with us to be able to help clients and be able to help them work through their process. And it could be going from business ideation to fully formed and operational, or it can be an established business. You've been doing this for 5 or 6 years, but it's been, you operate it out of your home. You may not have set up your business accounts and all of that. And you're like, okay, I want to, formalize this or get on the grid, right? One of my partners in the Bronzeville Incubator, shortly after I started, referred to me as, she was like, "You're like our business guidance counselor." And I was like, that's probably the best way to put it, right?
I feel that way too. And so just so everyone that's knowing, Lauren actually helping me through my process. So I would not recommend someone so strongly if I hadn't, if I didn't know what I was talking about. And I've had, so far, we did our first consultation and the process was so thorough. I think I mentioned that I cried a little bit, because when you're starting a business, when you're starting something, it's super important to you. And to be able to connect with someone who actually has answers to the question that you didn't know, it takes so much pressure off of your shoulders. You have no idea. So, again, the right person to speak with after this, send her email, jumping back into everything. So I want to ask you, so with all those, that type of setup, so many different resources, do people have to pay? I know the answer, but I want you to answer. Do people have to pay for these services?
Yeah, so everything that we provide at the center is free. So advising is free. If we have a session and I tell you, you know what, I have a legal partner that I'm going to connect you with, their consultation, like the information and time that they spend with you, will be volunteered, right? So there's that level of services, and then everyone has their larger kind of, set of services that they provide. That, let's say you meet with, I partner you up with a CPA. I actually just did this with someone yesterday, right? For them to talk through and answer some questions that they were having because they wanted to submit a loan application or a grant application, and it required some balance sheet information. And they were like, "Well, I have my P&L. I'm all set with that, but I've never looked at the balance sheet." And they wanted to just kind of bounce some questions off of the CPA. I connected them. They had a consultation that didn't cost her anything, right? Now, if she wanted to then contract with that accountant, she was like, I had a really good experience with her, when it's time for me to do my taxes or ongoing financial planning, then they can make a connection, right, to become a paid client. But anything that you come to the center for, so for example, I'm meeting tomorrow with a law group that is going to set up, monthly office hours at the incubator for free, right? And so every month on this particular day, you'll be able to come, set an appointment, come in, and you can talk to a lawyer for free.
That's fantastic, because I think that, again, people that don't have the information, I was right there too. You don't have the information, so automatically you are just bogged down by how much things cost, and then who's the right person. Am I going to Google? I don't want to be taken advantage of, things like that. So to have someone who's vetted, tried and true, I think, everything's going to be fantastic on this interview. Okay. So I think that's fantastic.
One of the really good things about being a part of the SBDC network is that we're an entire network throughout the state of Illinois. I mean, it's a whole network throughout the United States, but like for us, we're a network throughout the state of Illinois. So let's say someone is looking for a service provider or looking for some information that I don't know or I don't have. Well, I can call my counterpart at the SBDC, of Greater Englewood, and I can use them because we talk. I just talked to her yesterday. Like, we talk all the time, right? But I can reach out to my counterpart in Greater Englewood and say, hey, do you have someone that does X that I can refer a client to? And she's like, absolutely. And we can make that connection. So there's a whole network of business, professional business service providers that, like you said, are tried and true and vetted.
Let me ask you, I'm looking at the comments. So we're speaking about Chicago, but so there's a network throughout the United States. Is that correct?
Oh, absolutely. So if someone was interested in, like, if you're in Houston, for example, right, you can go to America's SBDC either gov or org. Don't yell at me for not knowing which one, but it's America's with an S, SBDC. You can go to their website, put in your zip code, and it'll spit out to you the closest centers across the United States.
Okay. All right. And I'm glad that you brought up a specific example that you did. You were working with someone who needed to deal with a CPA. A lot of people during this time, small businesses specifically, are looking for funding. Is that something that you're able to walk them through the process?
Yeah. So when we technically, became a center in January, but we didn't really kick things off until the beginning of March. We had our orientation with the folks from the state of Illinois about 2 weeks before the shelter in place happened, right? So our work very quickly became one of, how do we help people get funding for different things, right? My first 3 weeks, post shelter in place was helping people with grant applications, helping people with the SBA payroll protection program loan applications and things like that, right? So I can't get you a loan. I'm not the SBA plug, right? Like I won't be able to assist in that way, but I can help you through the process, or someone on the team can help you through the process. Yeah.
How long? Well, I know that just what I saw on the news, for a lot of people, that weren't, unfortunately, they weren't accepted. How long was the process, though, initially, just to do the application, to submit it? How long does that process typically take?
Specifically for the PPP, or like overall SBA loan?
Just overall.
Overall, it really does vary. Like, what we would do, even though we are funded in part by the SBA, if someone who was a small business, like a legitimate small business, came to me and was saying, I'm looking for finance, I want to expand and maybe get a storefront, right? And I want to know about financing, I would actually be working with them to go through a local lender, like a community lending partner, right? Because the SBA, a small business to the SBA, is a business that has 500 employees or less, right? So what we think of when we say small business, the SBA or the government would probably more so categorize it like a micro business, right? A business that is between 0 employees and 20, right? Which is more so the lane of where our businesses will fall. And so there are still other options for you, right? That's not the SBA, but we will work with smaller banks that are focused on community lending, community businesses, things like that.
Okay, awesome. I want to find out a little bit more about the incubator, because that is where I came. I think I posted maybe 2 months ago. I was doing work there, and people were generally interested. They wanted to know a little bit more. So tell them what the incubator is all about.
Yeah. So the Bronzeville Incubator is beautiful. You can probably attest to that, right?
Yes.
It's so, like I said, we're right on the corner, 51st and Prairie. The address is 5061 South Prairie. If you want to come check us out. On the second floor, it's a great shared co-working space. So we have a larger, more open room that is good for large events. It can be rented out for large events. We've had everything from big business orientations and presentations by corporations or like a Northwestern, all the way down to someone's grandma's birthday party, right? So there's a big, open space that is for co-working purposes, a shared co-working space. But then there's also a level of membership that is dedicated memberships, and it's a monthly thing that you have dedicated. There's a smaller workspace, right, that has dedicated desk, and it's all the bells and whistles of your normal co-working space. Printing and Wi-Fi, and snacks and all that kind of stuff. We have conference rooms. There's monitors and things for presentations. One of the real, what'd you say?
Super professional, very professional.
So super professional. One of the really great things about it as well, though, is that we have a rooftop patio, right? So you can work, in the conference room, or you can go outside and work on the roof in the summertime, which is really cool.
I think if somebody's wanting to do an event, within reason, how beautiful to do, a rooftop event in the summer or, whenever it's appropriate.
Like I said, we do private events. You can book various parts of the space. You can book the whole space. You can book pieces of the space for private events. The inside part of the incubator is also super sun filled. Like there are skylights every few hundred, skylights all over the place. It really is a really, really nice building, and it feels comfortable and homey, and
not a good energy. Absolutely. The music and the natural lighting, and it's not too big. I know some of the co-working spaces that I've been to that are downtown, they are really nice. So don't get me wrong, but they were too busy.
Yes.
And so I can appreciate the amount of space there and feel like I'm still able to intimately connect with other people that are there. It's more natural. So if you're someone that's, just starting your business, you need somewhere professional to go and set up and not feel overwhelmed, but still connect with, other professionals, I highly recommend it. I really do. Well, I want to transition to Boxville. So when I came and did my tour, you gave me a brief tour on Boxville, and I had never heard of Boxville. And I know there are a lot of people who have never heard of Boxville either, because I've asked them, but it's such an amazing thing that's there. So why don't you kind of give us an overview?
Yeah. So Boxville they call it a shipping container mall. I just don't like the word mall personally, but in essence, what Boxville is, we have shipping containers that we came to realize. So before it became trendy and sexy and everyone is making stores and housing and stuff out of shipping containers, certainly in Chicago, we were the very first people to do it. And so we have these shipping containers that we've taken and fully built out, right? So they have, hardwood floors, walls with your recessed lighting and, skylights and electricity in them, and they are small retail or opportunities for people to set up their own small business, right? So what I think is super dope about Boxville is that it's a space that anything from a 10-foot, what we call micro box, up to a 40-foot box, someone can rent, right? It's built out. It's a beautiful retail space, and you have your own storefront. And this isn't, $10,000 of a build out or $100,000 of a build out later. This is, you can walk in and put your stuff in it. And we have everything in the boxes right now from, there's a small vegan restaurant that is delicious, that is in Boxville. There's an apparel company, Be Creative is their name. The vegan restaurant is called Conscious Plates. There's Be Creative that is an apparel. They have an apparel, 3 different apparel lines, but also they make right there. They are direct to garment printing. You can walk in and say, I have this idea for a concept. You all work it out together. You can print it on your shirt, your hat, whatever, and it's, and go. There's a small loose tea company called Good Thoughts Tea, which is delicious and healthy. And I have like 4 canisters on my kitchen counter right now that she custom blends teas. And then there's Natural Babe, which is a boutique retail. She has clothing and apparel, but she is also a certified mental health therapist, right? And she does healings and sessions and things like that. So, I said what they all were just to give you an idea of the gamut of things that you can do there. We also, in Boxville, in the summer seasons, this summer, the season will kick off June 24th. We pushed it out because of everything that's going on, but twice a week we have the Boxville markets, which you have local vendors that can come, they set up. You can either rent a table, rent a box, then there's a DJ, there's, this year we're going to have to flex it a little bit because of the corona of it all, right? But we're still going to keep that energy and that vibe in some form or fashion and keep it going. But it's just a great way for a small business to be able to take their business from operating your house to now you have a storefront. And like I said, it doesn't take you thousands of, it don't, it takes you a few $100s a month in rent, like a few hundred versus thousands.
I mean, I was so impressed. I don't get the names incorrect. I don't remember the names, but the printing press one, there was a huge printer, and I was just like, how is this thing fitting in here? But it was in there, and it was a full business, and they had the thing going, and I was just like, man, I want to, figure out what this is about. And then I felt foolish because I didn't know what it was about. I can myself, how you think you're a know-it-all, you just know, what's in your town.
All the things. Like,
how did this get here? And you guys have been, there and just thriving. And it's such a wonderful opportunity, like you said, for people who are just starting out small. You maybe in your garage making products or something like that. Just to, step it up, go to the next level before you do launch. So it's amazing. It's super amazing.
No, I mean, definitely Google it, look it up. Boxville is, it's, we're on all the social medias, on the Facebooks, it's a website. If you go to buildbronzeville.com, it actually it has everything. It'll connect you to the incubator, to Boxville, to the SBDC, to everything.
Buildbronzeville.com.
Yes.
Okay. Well, Lauren, I don't want to keep you. We've gone past our time, but you've given us so much information. So if anyone has any further questions, definitely want to recommend. I put the email, and I see that the SBDC has put a link that you guys can click on to follow to get more information. You guys, Lauren, she is it, okay? Now it's rare when you get good people. I'm a customer service type person, right? So she is the person that you want to kickstart this journey with for sure. So if you call her, you tell her, Alicia, I watched interview on the Urban Key, and she will know that you're someone special. All so right. Do you have any final words that you want to leave everybody with?
Just reach out to us through our Facebook, the Illinois SBDC at Build Bronzeville. We're on Instagram, we're on Twitter. It's Illinois SBDC for all of those things. Oh, sorry, Illinois SBDC at Build Bronzeville specifically, because otherwise you'll go to other centers. Like I said, if you are interested in any of the other initiatives, buildbronzeville.com will get you to everywhere. And for my, current entrepreneurs or budding entrepreneurs, we actually just launched a new webinar series that's going to kick off next Wednesday, the 20th at 2 p.m. and we'll go every Wednesday to 2 p.m. There's a range of workshops from everything from, branding and marketing, that not generically speaking, like all these things are super specific and targeted, website and kind of the best way to build your virtual presence. But also we have one of our legal partners that will be joining us for it to talk about legal compliance from the standpoint of e-commerce, which is something I think almost none of us think about. But it's from that all the way through mindfulness and, making sure that we're going to have a wellness webinar that is specifically for entrepreneurs and business owners. So a little bit of everything, check us out.
May through June.
They're going to go May through June, but if you, that's going to be that particular series, but ongoing, we will have workshops and, there'll be webinars for the remainder of the time that we can't do these things together, right? And eventually they'll be in person at the Bronzeville Incubator, but this is something that will be ongoing, 2 or 3, or, 2 workshops or so a week, just from now until.
I think that's so wonderful. So you guys, once again, take advantages of the services. They are free. So you can't get any better than, taking that first step, and it's free. You didn't have to pay anything for it. So let's utilize our resources and let's take advantage of 2020. Let's not be, just stuck in, the sad, because what's happening is very upsetting and sad. But I think that all that we can do really is press forward. And so if, a business is what was next for you, please keep going in your journey and take advantage of these resources. So Lauren, thank you once again. And I'll be in touch with you soon with my homework.
Yes, I will say, because you have homework.
Yes, so I'm on it. I'm all over it. So I'll talk to you soon. Thank you so much. And I'll talk to you later.
Thank you.
All right, bye.
Bye.
All right, guys. Thank you so much for tuning in. I hope that you all were able to take away just a little piece of information. It was really important for me to introduce Lauren to you because I just love good people. I always say that. And she really is just a wealth of knowledge, different fronts. So, and she's a good friend also. So, definitely want to reach out. Please follow me on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, at The Urban Key. I definitely appreciate all of your support. I'm going to keep doing these videos, and hopefully, you're getting some type of information to motivate you or inspire you. So that's it. See you next time. All right, bye.